Party ZLP 208. Party ZLP 208. The total valid votes 586,815. 586,815. Rejected votes 21,015. Rejected votes 21,015. Total votes cast 607,890. Total votes cast 607,890. That is a summary of the results.
2,814.
The 2023 verdict there from Sokoto State. Professor Kabir Bala, the Vice-Chancellor of the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, announcing that the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, had won the presidential election in that state. Let's return to our studios here, and we've been joined by the publisher of The Political Economist, Mr. Ken Ubeche. Ken, morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's now afternoon, but we have been here since morning, so we didn't know when it's afternoon.
We haven't seen the sun.
We haven't seen the sun, so we're not completely aware it's afternoon yet, but it is afternoon. I'm sure you've been following the trends, the themes, the various things that people are talking about. And I guess maybe to just dive you into it or push you into it, whichever you would like. One should begin about asking you of what you make of the electoral process up until the stage that we are now.
Yes, actually, that's where we should be interrogating, especially the media, because I'm more concerned about the role of the media.
Absolutely.
In the entire process. And the media should be interrogating the process of the elections, not just announcing the outcomes, because outcomes, they take processes. And the electoral system is, I call it the cream of democracy. It's election. It's the creamer, actually. And it's supposed to be a festival, not a war. But how do you arrive at that outcome? Is that outcome predetermined outcome? Is the outcome allowed to happen? Is it organic? Or is it something projected by somebody and they work to the outcome? That is what the Nigerian media, I think for now, should be interrogating. And if you ask me, I will say that we have not done enough to bring the electoral actors to account to the Nigerian people. In this instance, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and then the adjunct staff they have hired. What have they done to produce that results that the media is now announcing? And if we begin to interrogate it, we also bring to them, to the fore, the very fact that democracy is governed by nothing but the rule of law, and the elections are governed by rules, laws, and mores. In the instant election that we're talking about, the presidential election and National Assembly elections, to what extent has INEC and all the actors conformed to the manual for this election? Because that's a manual. The Electoral Act 2022 is the manual for this election. And that Electoral Act is for instance now, it has become the ground norm for this particular election. Until we get another act, But for now, it governs this election. And I will say that the electoral actors have not conformed to the dictates, to the tenets, and the nuggets of the Electoral Act 2022. And that is where the media should begin to point out those things that the various actors have not done. I give you an instance. On the day of election, President Muhammadu Buhari voted in his Daura community. And he showed to the world who he voted for. The Electoral Act in Section 122 talks about the secrecy of the ballot. I'm not supposed to know who Ladi voted for. I shouldn't know who Millicent voted for. And she shouldn't tell me who she voted for. But a sitting president who also signed this law, he signed into law, showcased who he voted for. And I saw another person, some of that top politician, doing so. They wanted to patronize their parties, whatever that means, but you don't flout the law. Because if you look at that section 122 of the Electoral Act, it even spells the penalty for doing that. It talks about people, you can't vote by proxy these days, unlike in the days of past, where somebody can take the electoral ballot paper and go and thumbprint.
Let's quickly read it. Section 122.
Yes.
Every person in attendance at a polling unit, including every officer charged with the conduct of an election and his or her assistants, and every polling unit, polling agent and candidate in attendance at a polling unit, polling station, or at the collation center, as the case may be, shall maintain and aid in maintaining the secrecy of the voting. No person, sub 2, in attendance at a polling booth under this section shall, except for some purpose authorized by law, communicate to any person information as to the name or number on the register of any voter who has or has not voted at the place of voting. 3, no person shall interfere with a voter casting his or her vote or by any other means obtain or attempt to obtain in a polling unit information as to the candidate for whom a voter in that place is about to vote for or has voted for. And that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
I shouldn't know who you have voted for,
And
I
then
shouldn't know who you want to vote for.
No person shall communicate at
Yes.
any time to any other person information obtained in a polling unit
Yes.
as to the candidate to whom a voter is about to vote for or has voted for.
The most important part, subsection 4.
Any person acting contrary to the provisions of this section
Yes.
commits an offense
Oh, yes.
and is liable on conviction to a maximum fine of 100,000 naira or imprisonment for a term of 3 months or both. Okay, anyway.
I mean, the point is well. I mean, the point is well made. The point is well made. And the point you were making, Ken, is that that's part of the process.
Yes,
We're
it's
talking
part of the
about
process that
leads
we
to
should
outcomes
interrogate. And the
that
media
we should,
ought to point out these things.
That is very, very instructive.
No. We should be... See, media is beyond informing. The role of the media is no longer... It's just beyond informing people. You should interpret it.
Educate.
You should educate the people. And you should also analyze. In
We've
fact,
been doing that, Ken.
Yeah, that's
if
what...
you've been watching us since Friday,
No.
you've been doing that.
Of course, this is my darling station. Channels is prima donna as far as I'm concerned in terms of electoral analysis because you are dispassionate. I'm very professional. But I'm saying that beyond that, every other media house should take this manual vis-a-vis the process. Begin to tell the public that this is wrong and this is right. It is when we begin to point out these things that we grow. All of us want to grow electorally.
Sorry, George, my sincere apologies.
Yeah.
Ladi, please don't crucify me for this question. But let me ask Mr. Ubechi. If you find someone doing just this, that you said the president does and a number of people have done, and the police is around and says, we need to enforce this law, and the police begins to pick people who do that at a polling unit, what do you think the consequence would be?
No, there's nothing wrong with a police, but there are some people that are governed by immunity for now. Yeah. For instance, the president has immunity. But I'm saying that other people who don't have immunity.
That's the point that I'm making.
Yes.
Because someone actually, I think it was